Okay, got everything set. Okay, perfect. Let me do this. Um, Let me just adjust everything here. But for those who are turning in early, bienvenidos, bonjour, carabo, or cabo, however you say it, and you're part of the world, I say welcome. Okay? Thank you for tuning in to Coach Ali's Corner. I am your host and your coach, Hassani Ali, as always. And again, this is monumental for me because I wanted to start this live stream here in 2021. I had some setbacks for 2020, but I'm glad I was able to get a very special guest of mine to kick this off with me, and hopefully we can continue to do a couple more things here in the future. But today is a very special topic. I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of brothers, but it's something we do have to touch base on because we really do have to decipher who's who in the community and who is aligning with what side. And without further ado, I would like to welcome a very special friend of mine, somebody who I was inspired to be one day because he got all the money. He got all the money over there in the Maryland area. Coach K, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you feeling today?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful, man. I can't call it, but again, I thank you so much for spending some time with me today while we celebrate Martin Luther King Day. And as you know, that man was a community activist, if anything. And so I really just have you come in and drop some gems on the topic. But first, introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself and the business that you have.
All right, thank you very much, Brother Ali, for having me here. My name is Kay. I have a business, a training and consulting business in human services. I've worked in human services for almost 10 years, working in the community in Baltimore City here. I work with mostly children in foster care. From most of my caseload with mostly teenagers anyway. So because I love working with teenagers, I love to engage with teenagers. I love to provide the services and resources to teenagers that I work with. Then I worked in the prison. I worked at the detention center here in Baltimore City, where I saw the same social problems that I saw when I worked as a foster care case manager. I've seen the same thing with young men coming into prison. So I've been working in human services. I love working with people. I love working with our people, male, female, it doesn't matter. My goal is to make impact in my community, in my zip code, and just to Black people all over the world. It doesn't even matter if it's Black or white. I'm always willing to work with people, just to make impact, improve lives, improve families.
So let's transition. Let's take that note with you being a person who is a person of service, a person who wants to do better for communities, male or female. So you're kind of one of like the unsung heroes, of the community, especially in the Baltimore City. Why do you feel as if brothers like you don't get enough credit for the things that you do? And what is it about it that kind of makes your line of work going unappreciated?
A lot of it's not like it's publicized as much. What I was doing was just my job and getting paid for it. So a lot of things was pretty much swept under the rug, but there was a lot of change that we made to a lot of children in foster care, because I'll have a young man who's 14 and he's going to age out at 21. And it's my job to make sure that he has a place to live after he lives. He has medical insurance. He has all his medical appointments scheduled for. He has a job. He has employment. He has all the necessary skills that he needs to actually become, a good citizen and also be able to pay his bills. So it's my job to make sure that I have all these services in place. So it's not like we look for a certain type of, acknowledgement. It's not like, we need it. It's just we're just doing our job to make impact. But on the other hand, I also have my own nonprofit, that I got started. So that's going to start this year. We already started to do some things in the community, like feeding the homeless. And where I'm at right now, this is my training center, and this is going to be an after school program center for young teenagers in high school. We are really going to touch on a lot of types of subjects like IT, math, reading skills, writing, so sometimes you don't look for the recognition. You just do it because you are the type of person, because you like to see people progress in life. You want to see people make improvements, like just a few days ago, not a few days ago, a few weeks ago, I was at the mall and I seen a kid that used to be on my caseload. And he approached me and he's a young black man. He's, hey, Mr. K. Oh, thank you for looking out for me years ago when I was trying to get into college and you helped me enroll into college. You helped me with my FAFSA. So you never know when you're going to meet somebody in the near future. So it's always good to make impact now. Because you can change a child's life, you can change an adult's life, you can change a woman's life, you can change a man's life today, but 10 years down the line, they can see you and they will never forget what you did for them years ago. So it's always good to do good things in the community because you just don't know who you're going to impact.
Absolutely. And I totally concur with that message. And the the topic is such a crucial one because when we talk about Black men actually wanting a community, we have to actually talk about what that entails. Building a community isn't always the glorious part. It isn't always the celebration or celebrating the finished product. It's also dealing with the other side, the part that needs improvement, the parts that needs, that are decimated, need to be rebuilt from the bottom. And so it's a commendable effort to say that you kind of have this notion that you don't need to be in the forefront in order to push your community forward.
No.
And
you don't need to. You don't need to. Yeah. I live in the county and me and you have had this conversation many times when I live in the county, but my office is in the city. So I'm always talking about like Black men, like, it's kind of funny, brother Ali, like when I watch a lot of pro-Blacks or whatever you call them, and they say, I'm not throwing them out there, but I'm just saying when they say, oh, we're doing this for the community. We're doing this for the community. And I always ask that one question, which one? Which one? Think about it. Which one? Because you're on YouTube saying, we're here to help the community. Which one?
Which
community? Are you talking about the community in Chicago? Are you talking about the community in Philly? Are you talking about the one in Oakland?
Right.
So there's this brother here in Baltimore, and I will never forget this quote. He always say this: every man that needs to help the community need to pick a zip code that is underserved to provide services and resources to. It can be mentorship, it can be sports, it can be after school programs, any type of service that can benefit that zip code. So when we talk about helping the community, we need to identify which area, which location are you willing to provide services within that community. Not just get it online and say, oh, we are doing this for the community. We are doing this. Sometimes I laugh. I'm like, that's funny to me because you have people actually out here with boots on the ground who are actually doing the work that nobody on YouTube knows.
That's true.
Nobody.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so basically you're saying there's a big difference between the lip service you get online and the actual work that's being done out here outside of the internet.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes. Yes. There's a lot of nonprofits out here, especially in a small city in Baltimore. It's about 500,000 people. There are actually a lot of nonprofits actually with boots on the ground, picking various zip codes that are underserved, and they are working it. I mean, there's a brother who purchased 4 buildings, vacant buildings, and turned it into a martial arts center. And people that live in Baltimore are familiar with this brother. He has a group called the 300-Man March. If you research that, so during the Freddie Gray riots, he was out there. He was out there with his group. But he purchased 4 vacant homes, right? Turned it into a martial arts center, right? For in the hood. Then a few blocks away from that building, he purchased 3 more buildings. One is going to be a business center, and one is going to be like I think a juice bar, because he's about help. Because a lot of, you have a lot of neighborhoods that just have liquor stores or food deserts, which is not really healthy for young, for people in the Black community. So you really have to be boots on the ground. You have to let people see who you are. You have to connect with the police departments. You have to connect with the fire departments, the health departments, all the other nonprofits. And if you're a brother that feel like, you know what, I don't feel like I need to go into the hood, you need to donate. That's it. I don't. Sometimes I can't go to certain neighborhoods. Yeah. I usually donate my money. You know.
Okay. You want to go in a little bit on that, because a lot of people people have the sentiment that I don't want to go into a tore down, war stricken, type area in order to make a benefit. So when you say donate your money, that might be a viable option. So if you could just expound on that a little bit and just explain as to why that might be important, rather than just if you don't feel comfortable doing like the actual,
I'll say, like I said, this particular brother, he has what is called he has a street clean team. So every Saturday he's out there with about 10 youths cleaning the neighborhood. I'm talking about, this is Baltimore. If you watch The Wire, this is what Baltimore is. He's out there cleaning the neighborhoods, but he's always asking brothers to come out and assist with, cleaning. And some brothers don't feel like going out there. Some prefer to donate. Like, if you see a nonprofit that is doing the work, and you can go to their website, you can see their, their annual reports, and they're doing good work in the community. Yeah, put the money. Donate. Yeah, make a pledge. I would say make a pledge. If you know you can't really go out there to set up a nonprofit in a certain zip code or a certain neighborhood, or you can't do any work in the hood, put your money in. Donate your money. Or be part of the board of directors of a nonprofit. That's another thing that a brother can do. There's many things that you can do where you don't really need to put your money in, but there's things that you can do that you can volunteer. You can volunteer your time, or do like I do. Start your own nonprofit.
Right. And why do you feel as if brothers don't take that initiative? We know there are some that are out there that do, but a lot of people have the idea and the sentiment that the community is left is left for dead, basically. I did my I got out of the jungle, and I'm gonna separate myself from the rest of it. And so why don't you think brothers really feel the inclination or the obligation to come back and start a nonprofit that could help?
Most brothers, I believe, have bad experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say there's probably more bad experience than good experience, because I've talked to a few brothers who came back to the neighborhood, work with people in the neighborhood, and get burnt. And leave, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And some other brothers, I'm not throwing any blame at them. They don't have to. You really don't have to. But because some other brothers, they have a lot going on in their personal life. They got wife, they got kids, they got to work 2 jobs, and they don't have time. They really don't have time. And sometimes I speak to, when we speak, we can speak like once a month or so, but it's because both of us are busy, And a lot of brothers just don't want to put that on their plate. They don't want to make that commitment, and they, some don't have to, but if you really want to make that commitment, these are the list of things that you can do. So I think a lot of brothers just sometimes don't trust people that much. Sometimes I see why, because you can help a lot of people and you get burnt, even with the people that you help.
Yeah.
I've given people money and I expect them to do certain things, and they don't do it. They just take the money. So a lot of people feel like, I'm wasting my time. Why should I waste my time with people that are not my kids or my family, and I'm leaving my family at home, So I think that's why a lot of brothers don't want to get involved in the community like that. And I understand.
And I would definitely agree, because to be honest, at one point in my life, I was right there in the crossroads, you know what I mean, where I seen my father, who was a community person for 40 years. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. That's about an hour and a half north of Detroit, where I live now. Where if you guys know Brother Bernard Riley is from Saginaw as well. He was a community man. He helped put people in homes. He worked for the city, and the housing department. Help people get homes, get loans. just all type of things that help out the community. And all these people I've seen, him sacrifice time, money, resources, all types of things to help people get a leg up. And when he passed a few years ago, the church was only about halfway full. And I was like, I know this should be, I know there's a lot more people that my father has helped and have made drastic impacts in their lives that should be here. And it kind of, raised a big red flag for me, is that this man sacrificed a lot during his lifetime and people couldn't even be decent enough to pay the respects to the man transitioning. And so that kind of left me sour, because it was like, what does it take for, somebody to do something that, to make it a rewarding experience, even though you're already giving your well-earned hard money, time, and resources to somebody who's less unfortunate and they don't thank you for it. So where's the reward? You know what I mean?
And Brother Ali, sometimes a lot of brothers really go out to the city, to low-income neighborhoods. They really put in the work. They put their money, their sweat, their equity in everything. But the only issue some of them have is hate from other brothers, other organizations. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing in this neighborhood? This is my neighborhood. Or you are stealing money. They start making stories about one another. They can't get along. Two groups can't function together. You guys are doing the same exact thing. You are providing services to the underserved neighborhood, and you guys are beefing. So that's why you see a lot of brothers prefer not to get involved. No, I don't want none of that. Trust me, and there are people that just give up, because of the hate. Or the government is like, for example, the city give a lot of grants. There's a lot of programs out here that give grants. So one program might get all the money, and other groups don't get nothing, and that's when the hate begins to start. People get on social media, make false accusations and all that kind of stuff. So it happens. So that's why it kind of stopped brothers from getting involved in the community. But there are other things that you can do in your community without, starting a nonprofit program or joining the board of directors. There's other things that you can do. You can still make impact. So
absolutely. And before we transition, if you're watching this live, please do me a favor and just get the likes up for me, just so we can help push forward on the algorithm, and I can bring on more special guests to bring more content. And also, if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you guys do the same thing so we can help get some more community-minded brothers who are married. Coach K is married, and we'll talk about that as well. But just help us out, get the likes up, and we can further along this podcast and have some more interesting topics. And so, really quickly, because I don't want to forget, Coach K, where can they find you on
I'm on YouTube. So K Coaching is my channel. I mostly focus on side hustles and business and just information on how you can make improvements to your financial life. A lot of people out there without jobs. I have videos for them just to watch so they can find a way to get side hustles so they can pay their bills. I'm about making improvement.
Absolutely.
I'm not talking $1 million. I'm not talking how to make 100,000. I'm just talking how to get started.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there with kids, and this is a lot of things that you don't really hear on the YouTube channels. Is a lot of people out there struggling, man. Like, my wife works in social services, and the amount of applicants that fill out applications for food stamps and cash assistance and all this. You're talking about families that had jobs like in the IT field and nursing field, and people are applying for TCA, man. People are out here struggling.
Yeah.
It's a real life out here.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's a perfect transition into the topic. So as you know, the topic is, do Black men truly want a community? Now, let's take your YouTube page, for example. So when you were talking business and how to improve, make your side hustles, how to make money during the beer bug, all this information, dropping gems left and right, you got very minimal views.
Yeah.
Yeah, very minimal to help people's lives. That's the part that gets me is that you can make actionable decisions to help improve your finances based off your videos, but it got very little views.
Yes.
But the second you jumped on a trending topic and reacted to some controversy, that's when you knew you were about to blow up because you called me and was like, I didn't gain 200, 300, 400 subscribers based off picking on one particular person. And we won't mention that here. But do we want the improvements like we say we do, or are we just waiting for someone to build it and then give it to us and then we run it from there?
I'm not sure if people want improvements. I think people love to be entertained. And people love the drama. They love the negativity because that's what sells, really, right? Right. Like one particular person I did a video on, it had 3,000 views. I shared it. I think I uploaded it maybe around 12. And by 5, when I was on my way to work, on my way back from work, I just checked. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? I'm like, wow. And I was just doing the video just to see how I can, and it blew up. And I took the video down because that's not really me. Remember, I told you that's not who I really am. I don't do that. That's not but I think a lot of people don't really want that information. Just a little sample size. I think a lot of people love the entertainment. They love the drama. They love the negativity, which is fine. That's what floats your boat. It's all good. But I always been told that if you can impact 5 people, you've done your job. That's all that is. So don't look at, you don't have 100 people listening to you. If you can impact one person and you can change that one person's life, you have done a good job.
The each one teach one method, huh?
There you go, brother.
Hey, I'm with it. And so, we talk about this and that the YouTube space is a very complex environment because, we hear the brothers in our space is that, we want law reform to fix our families. We want, better quality women for our relationships. We want these things, but it seems like it just ends at YouTube.
Yeah.
Once everybody kind of, gets off the rhetoric, get off what's on their chest and, everyone's kind of, fist bumping and agreeing and all that kind of stuff. After everybody hits sign off, everybody, nothing has changed. And so what do you think is going to take in order to implement some real action in order to see some changes in Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, Dallas, Houston, Sacramento? I mean, we have what, 13, 14 main black cities across the country?
It starts from you. All right. It doesn't start. You are like, I will take some words from a guy on YouTube called G Dizzle. It starts with you. You are the community. Now, you have to ask these brothers that get on YouTube and talk about we need to do this for the community. Have you been to any city council meetings? How many city council meetings have you been to? How many public hearings have you been to? How many PTA meetings have you been to? How many school board meetings have you been to? These are the things that impact your community. Have you been to, do you have any type of connection with the police department in that community? So these are things that you have to think about. Like I go to my city council, I go to my county council meetings every month. And due to COVID, they're not having it in person, they're having it online. But I go to it when I can. I know my council, the person that represents my district. I know that person. I can send them an email when I see things, if I have a question. There was a time that Baltimore County were looking to hire this police chief from Baltimore City. And Baltimore City had a lot of corrupt police officers. And there was a public hearing. I showed up. I went. I also sent an email to 7 of the county councilmen, and I sent an email to the county executive, which is like the mayor. I sent an email to all of them that I disagree with the hire of this police officer because she was supervising corrupt police officers. But guess what? They hired her anyway. But I still sent my email. I still use my own advocacy to dispute the hiring of this particular police officer. Your power is in you, not on YouTube, not on Facebook, is what you do out there. So you have to really go there and know what's going on in your community. You have to sit there and listen to all the bills that are being passed, all the public hearings. You have to actually make a presence. You have to know what's going on. And here's the thing. I do see a lot of Black people at some of these council meetings. Oh yeah. These are people that are actually out there who are screaming and hollering, no, we don't want that bill passed. I mean, you see a lot of Black people there. But to the people on YouTube, are you actually going out there to do the work? Are you actually attending these meetings to know what's going on? Because everything starts locally.
Right.
Everything starts locally.
Right.
So,
and what I will say is, even with this, with the whole mess with the election, is that you did not hear a lot of people talking local and state. Everything was focused on the main stage. And so even though, everyone's screaming fraud, everyone's, happy that Biden and Harris are, moving on, you didn't hear about what got passed and, and everyone's perspective states and city, councils. And so who knows what could have been missed because everyone's so focused on the big picture. So
I'm sorry to cut you off, brother.
What?
Other politicians, other people that you look at the sheriff of the city or the county. That is very important. The judges. Do you know a lot of people don't research the judges? They just, I'm just going to check this one. You research the judges and know who they really are. Who else? The state's attorney. Very important because he's the one that's going to file the case. And let's say a police officer shoots an unarmed Black man, and you want to know who the state's attorney is coming in. You have to go out there and vote. You have to know these people. That's why attending all these events in the community, get into politics, not just entertainment. Get into politics. Even if you're not going to participate, attend, learn. Learn some stuff. I'm learning. I'm one day I hope to run for office, maybe city council or something in my community. I would love to run. That's why I'm attending all these events and all these public meetings and council meetings just to learn how a law is passed. Just to learn. I just want more information. That's the type of information I'm actually looking for, so I can also advocate for the people in my community as well.
Okay. And speaking of community, so as we all know that the first community is the family. And with you being a married man, you've been married for how long?
I've been married for about 7 years.
Married for 7 years, and you have how many children?
I got 2 kids.
2 children. And so we know that if you can't govern anyone else, then how can you change policy or govern a city or a state or anything else? A lot of people are anti-marriage and anti-family, but if you notice the highest political positions in the country, most of those people are married. Why? Yeah. Because it shows that if you can govern your own family, then you can govern cities and states and countries and everything else. And so why do you believe that's such a misconcept amongst our folks?
Well, every culture is different. I would say every culture is different. And some people, is the way they've been brought up. Parents have said, hey, don't get married. Don't do this because this is what will happen. See, when I was growing up, my mom and my dad, they're not together, but they were still teaching me about marriage. You understand? They would say, hey, go to college, get your college degree, get married after. And that's what I did. I got my master's and I got married. So it depends on how your family is, how your family structure is. And I see why a lot of people are against marriage because of what has happened in your family or what has happened in on what I guess on TV. I guess they're watching entertainment news and Dr. Dre's wife filed divorce and she's going to go away with 100 million. So a lot of people get nervous. But it's up to you. It's your choice that you have to make. See, when I work with kids in foster care, they had no family. All right. So you having young girls and young men growing up with no family. So no one to teach them about the institution of marriage. Think about that, Sonny. You have a lot of Black kids in foster care, a lot, and they grow up in foster care. They age out in foster care, and no one is teaching them about marriage. And these are the same young males and females that get on YouTube that hate marriage. You know, not all, but I'm just saying.
Right.
You know,
right.
mentality like we don't want marriage because they didn't see that in growing up, and some do, and some just don't think marriage is right for them, and they have the right. They have the right to say, "I don't want to be married." It's okay. I didn't get married till I was 30. You know, so if you want to spend time to think about it, you want to spend time to find the right person, then it's up to you. Because I'll tell you this, brother Sonny, because on YouTube you hear a lot of information. You hear a lot of people talk about people are not in relationships, people are not getting married. Just a few weeks ago, I went to the mall, me and my wife, and I sat at the food court. I mean, I'm just seeing couples, up and down.
Right.
Every time I go to the mall, you will see that. I mean, people are getting into relationships. You see it all the time. All my friends are married. So all my friends, they're married. All my network is married. And when we talk, we don't talk about women. We strictly talk about other things in our lives, business, money, credit, whatever. So I don't understand. I really don't know what to say to that because I like marriage. I always advise men to get married, start a family, but everybody has to make their own choices.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's what I'm going to say about this, because I'm tired of the narrative that marriage is so bad. People bring up the percentages, 50% in divorce and 80% initiated by the woman. You know what? There was a time when the Wright brothers were working on the invention of the airplane. And someone probably told them there's a 100% chance that you will not make it if you take that doggone machine and fly it off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to break the mold? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so just because marriage did not work for somebody else does not mean it would not work
for you.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And here's the funny part is that I listen to guys all the time about having game. Game will get you the best type of women and get you the type of women to do all the stuff that you want. But all of a sudden, when it comes to marriage and divorce, now the game doesn't apply. You know, if you have game, then you should be able to mac your way through the court system, right? You know what I mean? Like you should be able to mac your way, to keep around and whatever it is. And so, the reason why I got married to my wife and I have my 3 boys is because these children deserve an inheritance when I move on. Mm-hmm. And the story I think about most is 2 of them. The Italian family who started Bank of America. Bank of America used to be called the Bank of Italy until 1930. It was an opportunity, for minorities, farmers, other types of people who couldn't get loans during that time. Mm-hmm. And it went from a small, to the small disenfranchised to now they service everyone. And think about it, Bank of America is only 90 years old.
Wow.
So think about what you can start and what you can give to your children for them to take advantage of that you could possibly see in your lifetime. You know what I mean? The owner of the Detroit Lions is Sheila Ford Hampton or Hamp. That's Henry Ford's great granddaughter,
Hmm.
the inventor of the automobile,
Automobile.
mass production. But
Yeah,
that's a
man.
whole other story. That's Henry Ford's great granddaughter. And
Mm.
because of what he started, she was able to inherit something that she built. And for us folks, I'm tired of everyone always having to start over. Grandma and granddad did provide something for me or for my parents. So my parents had to start over. My parents didn't pass anything on to me, so now I have to start over. So why let's break the mold and say I want to pass something on to my children so they don't have to start over.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Even
Mm-hmm.
with trust fund kids, whether they blow the money or not, they come out of college or they hit 18 and grandma and grandpa gave them $50,000 or $100,000 or $500,000,
Mm-hmm.
so they can start their life however they want. How they end up spending it is on them, but at least they had the advantage set aside for them from sacrifice from their ancestors, parents, grandparents, or whatever to move forward. We're always having to start over.
Mm-hmm.
And why can't we break the cycle to start, from at least from a checkpoint, if you want to use a video game reference. Like, let's start from a checkpoint. I may not, I may not have, $3 million to give to my children, but the houses that I acquire, they'll be able to have that when I move on. So
and that's true. You can have things in place for your children, your family. Like you said earlier, because it didn't work out for somebody doesn't mean it won't work out for you. You got to go in there and try it. I've had a friend who was married almost 10 years, got a divorce, and within 2 years, guess what? He got married again. And I have another friend who was also married, and him and his wife divorced. And guess what? He's not married. He's like, I don't want to go into it. So everybody has their own little experience. But I wouldn't tell anybody out there not to get married. If you want to get married, proceed. Go ahead. But there's a few things that you must put in place for yourself and for your family. Do you have a 529 college fund for your children? Do you have life insurance? Do you have if your finances in order, your credit is in good order? Are you looking to buy a house? Are you moving into a much better neighborhood because of the school system? So these are things that you must prepare yourself. And also, do you know how to deal with women? That's another thing. Because when you're married, there's certain things you must learn about women. You must learn about each other, and she must learn about you. Did you go to any type of counseling? Because a lot of people get married, they don't know each other, they just move in and boom. They don't go for any counseling, they don't go for any type of mediation, nothing. So these are things that you have to put in place. Like before I got married, we did counseling. I learned what I need, my role. She learned her role as well. She let me lead. That's the thing. You have to find a woman that is willing to work with you and let you be the leader. All right. Because there's sometimes, women, they will say, we need this, we need that. And I will say, no, we don't. But give me a reason why we need this, and I'll tell you why we don't need it. So we communicate. All right. Yeah. So if your plan works, we'll go with your plan. If your plan doesn't work, then my plan will be the one who will implement. It's all about communication in marriage. And a lot of people, they just go into it because the person looks good or the person got money. They go into it for the wrong reason. Right. All right. They go into it for the wrong reason. So you have to make your choice on what you want to do. I have a cousin. He doesn't want to get married. He just want to have kids. And there's child support.
Right. And there's a few of those in our family. Right. And so, and what I will say for the detractors that say marriage will always end up in divorce and they'll take your stuff and they'll take your kids. Here's one thing I'm noticing when it comes to that rhetoric. There's two things that I notice. One, a lot of times that, the brother who goes into divorce court, they go in unprepared. They go in unprepared, not showing receipts that, they've taken care of the family, not showing receipts of the conversations that, when they notice that the relationship start getting rocky, they're not providing the evidence that, she is sabotaging the marriage for the sake of trying to get some benefits. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like because it's not about who says what in court, it's about what you can prove.
Prove. And I'll tell you a story real quick. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I have a coworker I used to work with. His cousin, him and the cousin and the wife was having issues, and they decided to get a divorce. And before the divorce was, I guess before she went for child support, they had an agreement. I guess they were separated. Let's put it that way, separated.
Okay, yeah.
Had an agreement that, hey, look, I will pay you $500 every month, right? And she agreed to it. So he typed it up, and they got it notarized, right? Yep. So 3 years later, I guess our friends and family were like, you can get more. So when they got to the courtroom, he showed the judge the letter, the agreement.
Agreement, right.
And it was notarized. And the judge asked her, and the judge asked her, like, did you agree to this, ma'am? She said, yeah. And the judge was like, there's nothing I can do. Case dismissed.
The power.
And the judge asked him
this.
Yeah, the judge asked him, has he been paying the $500 every month since you made this agreement? She said, yes, he's been paying. The judge said, well, you agreed to it, so there's nothing I can do. Case dismissed, and move on.
Again, the power of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is a very mighty tool if you use it. Well, I mean, to do the signature, you actually need the keyboard to write it all up. But when you come prepared in a situation, then you don't go to court with your pants down and relying on your lawyer to make up something for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Again, we understand that the marriages go south. We understand that people change and have very selfish motives for getting divorced. But if you are prepared when you go into that courtroom, then you will have a way better chance of coming out of the settlement. A winner, or even coming out, splitting everything with the spouse as far as like children, property, whatever whatever you came in with, whatever she came in with, rather than her just taking everything.
Yeah, because sometimes some of these women will work hard to get the child support, and I had a friend who when they separated, I was telling them, yo, stop fighting. Try to find a way to negotiate and see if you can pay her every month. And because I was trying to give him that same idea my coworker gave to me, but he didn't want none of it. He wanted to fight. Oh, I'm taking this. He had no lawyer. He had nothing. Guess what? He ended up paying child support. He ended up paying for her lawyer, because she came ready. Yeah, she was prepared, and he lost. He had no other choice but to pay child support. And sometimes we got to use, I'll say this, Brother Ali, we got to use wisdom when we fight our battles. We got to apply a lot of wisdom. Everything is we don't have to be aggressive in every situation. You just have to apply wisdom and apply some knowledge and be strategic. Because if you're not, you're going to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And let me just really quickly, for the few people who are watching the stream, do me a favor and leave a comment just so I know who's watching the stream, so we can thank you personally for just stopping by for this for this hour, just to chop it up with Coach K, and hopefully you're getting some gems out of this, and just so I can thank you personally just for being here. And if you have any topics for the next show, feel free to jot those down, and we'll take a look at them and see when we can come up with with another topic. But with all that being said, Coach K, here's one thing I noticed. I know we're about to wrap up here in the next 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Is that one thing I'm noticing, especially with the anti-marriage, anti-community, is that a lot of these brothers are the ones that were gambling with their Jimmy and lost. A lot of it's the ones who were thinking with the little head instead of the big head, trying to get all the pleasure that that they wanted, and when they get smacked with child support or whatever, then they want to dismantle the system because they're a part of it. Yeah. Instead of of planning, properly of who you're going to lay down with, because whenever you lay down with somebody, it's a risk.
Yes.
This person is.
You got to protect yourself. And like, I told you earlier, I worked with a lot of teenagers. Most of my caseload were mostly teenagers. And I had this young man, I think he was about 6'5", tatted up, good looking young brother. And all the ladies loved him. And when he was about 17, I was telling him, I was like, look, be careful. Be careful for, sleeping with all these girls. Make sure you're protecting yourself. He didn't listen. Fast forward maybe 5 years later, after I left the Department of Social Services. Do you know how many kids he have?
I'm gonna be generous, and I'm gonna be generous, and I'm gonna say 3.
Oh gosh, he has 7.
Oh,
7 kids, and he's only 23 years old. 23, and when I seen him, he was like, "Yo, I need help. I can't get a job. I got this criminal. I got this weed charge on my record." I'm like, man, I told you a few years ago, because sometimes I talk to them like they're my little brother or like I'm their uncle. I said, I told you a few years ago, you need to always strap up. Have your fun. That's okay, no problem. But protect yourself. He got 7 kids by 7 different baby mamas, man. 7 different women. 7. And here's the thing. In Baltimore, it doesn't matter if, let's say a child gets CPS report and they remove the kid from a mother's home and place her in foster care, the state can still come for child support and still go after the father.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. That's what we did. Oh, yeah. If a father, let's say, for example, the dad is not involved. He's not involved. He's not doing anything. And the state removes the kid from the mom and put that kid in foster care, they're going after the dad and mom for child support. Yeah. Unless he wants to come back and take his kid.
Right. So either way, somebody's paying.
Somebody's going to pay for that kid's care.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. In the state of Maryland, that's what happens. They come for that child support. Oh. So it doesn't, not only the women, is the state as well, the jurisdiction the kid's in. So so this young man, I told him, I said, look, I will help you. I sent him some information through email for jobs and stuff like that. I haven't spoken to him, so I really don't know what's going on. But he has 7 kids, and some of the judges, they will tell you to go sell drugs if that's how you can take care of your kids. Yes, I've heard it more than 2 times in Baltimore here, where a judge will like, what can you do? It's like, the only thing I know how to do is sell drugs. And he'd be like, well, go out there and sell some drugs and take care of your children.
So we want you to risk your life in order to pay us. Not mentioning the fact that you may get caught up in our system and we put you in jail or prison, I should say. But as long as you're paying us and you don't get caught, then we don't care.
Yeah, because they charge fees as well. It's child support is a department that they get paid as well. So they charge a fee.
I have things in place to protect myself in case my wife and I would ever get divorced. But I
tell you this. I tell you, brother Asani, I always say to myself, like, I always tell my wife this, like, if me and you don't work out, we're going joint custody, man. Wherever you move, I'm moving. Right. I don't pray divorce for anybody, but I don't encourage people to think about it. But you just have to find ways to work with one another and building your family. Find a way to solve conflict. Be a problem solver. Find a way to resolve the conflicts that you and your wife have. And I just tell a lot of young brothers out there, protect yourself all the time. Because this young brother, only 20, probably he's 24 now, 25. He has 7 kids, 7 baby mamas. He had 2 kids in 1 month, and the 2 kids are the same age. Yes, 2 kids in 1 month.
Oh, so the reason why I'm laughing is because in a lot of these spaces, a lot of people are anti-polygamy, but at the same time, you're creating pseudo families when you have
Mhm.
this kind of when you have this kind of dichotomy. It's like you may not be married to the brother, but he has 7 families out here.
Oh gosh, 7
You know what I
kids.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and he's not the
and
only one.
no, not at all.
And I'll tell you this: if anybody that work in human services that work with teenagers in foster care, they will tell you the amount of children some of these kids are having. I had a young lady who had 3 baby daddies, and she was only 19. Only 19. She would leave the group home. She run away from the group home, and she's gone for like 2 months. I can't find her, because I have a warrant out for her because I can't find her. And
Right.
she would come back pregnant.
And kind of using the foster care as like a support system.
Yeah. And those kids that she have, those 3 came into foster care themselves.
I
And
bet.
she was in foster care. So, we just have to, young men just have to protect themselves. Protect yourself at all costs.
So
And young ladies too.
So let's do this because we're at the 51-minute mark. We got like 9 minutes to go. So let's get into some viable solutions here. What would you say would be the main top 3 things that brothers can do in order to help rebuild, maintain, or push their community forward? And what would you say to the detractors, people who are the naysayers, that this is a waste of time, nothing's ever going to be built? Like, what would you say to those people, in order when you say these top 3 things have to be implemented to move these communities forward?
The first thing I would say is donate your money to some of these nonprofits that are actually working, right? Participate in community events. If it's cleaning, if it's some type of working with the youths in the community. And number 3, start your own nonprofit if you have to. And for those who are saying, why should we do these things? Give it a try. If it works, you be crowned a champion. If it doesn't work, hey, at least you tried. You're not sitting on the sideline letting other people do the work.
Right.
You're actually out there. You're actually in the community. I looked at my wife this year, last year. I said, this December, we are going to be in Baltimore City. Okay. We are going to be we're going to give out food to the homeless. We're going to give out winter hats and gloves and socks and blankets to people out there in the city. We're going to go out there and do something. We don't have the funds for it. No one is giving us any donations. We're going to use our money, but at least we tried. And guess what? When we posted the pictures online, people were sending money to my Cash App. They were sending money to my Cash App. So when I tell a lot of brothers, I understand your pain, I understand your complaints, but somebody out there needs you. They need your skill set. They need your mentorship. They need your leadership. They need you to motivate them. They need you out there in the community. There's a lot of people that don't have anybody to look up to. I had a young brother who was on my caseload. He didn't know men wear suits. He didn't know men had professional jobs. He didn't know that.
What did he think men did then?
I don't know. He knew the only thing he saw in his neighborhood was drug dealers, people with nice cars, baggy pants, jerseys. That's all he saw. That's all he knew. You know. But seeing me, he would see me with a shirt and a tie. I'm like, wow, I would like that. I don't have one. So you can impact lives. You can change lives. All you have to do is just take a chance. And I do understand because there's a particular person who was supposed to start a school and everybody donated and there's no school and people are like, yeah, no. But think about what Dr. Umar did. Oh, shoot, I just said his name. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah. We all know who it was, but Think
about his mindset. What he did was not wrong, right? He had the right mentality to get something started in a zip code in Wilmington. However, he hasn't come through.
Right.
That's why a lot of people don't trust Black organizations, don't like going back to the Black community, don't like to get involved. They prefer just to be on their own, which I understand. And I truly understand. But sometimes you just have to take that stand. Sometimes you just have to take that step to help somebody out there. Any type of population that you can help. It can be a domestic violence victims. Children in the hospital with cancer. Anything that you can do to help anybody out there in your community will make a big difference. Even if it goes even though nobody recognizes it, but there's only one person that recognizes it, and it will come back to you in million folds. Like you'll be blessed beyond your wildest dreams. Business will begin to work out for you. Your life will be everything you touch, everything that you do, it will begin to come back to you in multiple folds. Like sometimes I do things like my job might not pay me as much, but my business is doing well because of the community things that I'm doing, the good things I'm doing in the community. Like I'd be like, man, I made $4,000 in my business. What did then I go back to when I did good things to people back in the day, helping them with jobs, helping them with resources, training, information. So anything you can do to help somebody, it will come back to you. Every action, there's always a reaction. So, that's just my own take on it.
I love it. And I appreciate all of the gems you dropped today. Like I said, you're kind of one of the unsung heroes here in the community. Even though it's your job, it's still, you could be one of those people who just clock into work, mostly around for 8 hours and clock out. You know what I mean? And we have a lot of people like that just sit on their job and don't realize the power that they have to influence through their position. We were on Brother Bernard Riley's show. I think that was sometime last week, where we had a Black principal at Sacramento High School. And, and we talk about how we want to influence the community, and, it shouldn't be all on the school. It should be on the parents. But the principal and the teachers see the kids 8 hours a day. Yeah.
That's why I said something about you have to make sure that you are part of the PTA. You're part of the school group. Like my kid just started school. She just started kindergarten, and me and my wife are part of the PTA. And I'm also, once everything opens back up, I'm going to be attending the Board of Education meetings. You have to get yourself involved in most of these things in your community. Just learn. Just go there. Just learn. Just listen. You don't have to get involved physically, but just listen. Listen to see what's going on. Get an understanding.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. I hope everyone who chimed in, who's here to listen today, got some valuable information. Coach K drops a lot of jewels. And first of all, hold on before we go. Big ups to Coach K for quitting his job and becoming a full-time entrepreneur. I am so proud of you, brother. I've only known you for about a year, and to see you make this big step in your financial career is very admirable. A lot of people are working towards to where you could be, and hopefully you can be an inspiration to others, for those who want to quit their job and have a full functioning business where they can, service people, not just here in America, but internationally. Because I know you have an international audience as well, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And, I'm actually in my building right now. So I was here all day getting this place set up. I will be hiring some folks very soon. And also, I'm going to be kicking off my nonprofit. We're trying to get the paperwork in and get, all these things together so I can go out there and impact my community, impact people. I love working with people. I don't mind helping anybody. Even if I don't have the information, I will reach out to somebody that has the information. I will do things for free if I can help somebody that don't have it. So thank you for having me on your channel. And
absolutely,
brother, you got to do more of this, please. You got to do more of this, man.
I'm definitely gonna get after it. I'm definitely like I was saying for the brothers in the comments. Feel free to drop a topic that you would like for myself and Coach K to cover. We plan on doing this at least once.
Ike is on the channel. I just see Brother Ike.
Yeah, Big Ike always showing support. You know that Big Ike has a wide wealth of knowledge.
Jesus Christ, tell me about it.
Brother CJ Wilkins, that's a well-to-do brother down in Texas. Out of the he's a vet, so I definitely appreciate everything that he's done. Brother Corey Austin has chimed in, and so again, I appreciate you brothers for all stopping in and taking this hour with us. You know, we can't do no 4-hour live streams. I'm old, I got kids.
I got kids too.
I can't be on the internet that long, so. Luckily, this played out where all my kids took a nap and my wife fell asleep as well. So I'm gonna go and wrap up and see what's for dinner in the meantime.
I can't even do a live stream at home because I'm not gonna get any peace. So I have to do it at my office. That's why I don't do live streams.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get like you, man. We get ready to be moving to Georgia soon, and hopefully I can have like a little office space. On the side of the house where I could, do my streams and stuff. But one more time before we go, where can I find you on YouTube, and also where can I find your business?
My name on YouTube is K Coaching, as you can see it below. The name of my business is CM Training. I do consulting, I do trainings. Things that I'm doing them remotely now, like virtual. I'm not traveling. I used to last year before the COVID, I used to travel all over the country, but I can't do that any longer. So that's what I do. And I'm a big person in the community. I love working in the community. But if you want to find me, K Coaching is my name. Just put it in YouTube and it will find me. So.
Love it. Again, I appreciate you stopping by. Again, thank you everyone who has tuned in. We're probably going to try to do one more stream this week, hopefully on Friday or Saturday. And we'll try to get some more people into the space so we can have some more productive, some more in-depth conversation. But in the meantime, you guys enjoy the rest of your MLK Day. Hopefully you're using this day to be productive and be impacting someone else's life. Till next time, Coach Ali signing out.
Peace.